Hello and welcome to Pock and Rob. Every now and then I watch a YouTube video where the idea is so delicious that I think I can't avoid doing that. I've got to have a go. This is one of those videos. Recently watched Beatley Tone's Beatle channel and he did a picking a track from every single Paul McCartney studio album and a few singles as well to celebrate Paul's 83rd birthday. Now I am well behind on celebrating Paul's birthday, but I like the idea so much I'm having a go. I'm doing a slightly different version as I'm actually going to include all of the compilations and all of his live albums. I'm not including stuff like Thrillington, however, the experimental Fireman stuff or the classical albums or other sound projects like Twin Freaks. So I don't yet know what I'm going to pick from each album. This is effectively going to become a playlist, which I will put a link to in the description below. So you can listen to these songs in order and maybe you'll hear the evolution of Paul's career. So starting with 1970s debut album McCartney, tempting as it is to pick junk, I'm going to go with Hot as Sun. Actually the earliest thing on here, he wrote that instrumental in '59. Hot as Sun from McCartney. Moving into 1971 and Ram, Paul and Linda McCartney album. This will always be Dear Boy. Dear Boy's going on the playlist. It's absolutely fantastic song. And given the passing of Brian Wilson, it feels appropriate given that it is so Beach Boys-esque. We're staying in 1971 and the birth of Wings with Wildlife, an album that has been growing on me of late. From this, I am picking the opening of side 2, Some People Never Know. Next up, 1973's Red Rose Speedway. Troubled album in my opinion, and the double is way better. I did toy with including the double version on here, but from the single version, Little Lamb Dragonfly, a Ram outtake. Next we have his commercial Zenith, Band on the Run, also 1973. From this, 1985, the closing track. You also get a tiny little bit of Band on the Run, which is a delight. Stepping forward to 1975 and Venus and Mars, and from this I am going to select You Gave Me the Answer, one of Paul's vaudevillian style tracks, and I really like this one. 1976, and it is Wings at the Speed of Sound. I'm going to go a bit left field. I was tempted to pick Warm and Beautiful, but I'm going to go with Must Do Something About It, which is actually sung by Joe English. I think it's a great undiscovered gem. We now reach Paul's first live release, which is Wings Over America from 76-77. I can't remember which year it came out. From the first disc, many people might expect me to pick Maybe I'm Amazed, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be picking Venus and Mars Rock Show and Jet, the opening medley from the whole record, from the whole concert tour. Absolutely brilliant, segueing and a great track. From the second disc, I am going to be picking Listen to What the Man Said. I think it kicks the backside of the single and album version. There's so much more punch. I've always preferred the live version. And then from the final disc here, I'm going to pick the closing track, Soily. It was I think, apart from covers, the only unique track on this record, Soily. Next up, 1978's London Town. From this one, I'm going to pick I'm Carrying, the acoustic track that George Harrison loved. It's a beautiful little piece of music. Next up is 1978's Wings Greatest, and obviously packed with singles. From this I am going to pick Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey from Ram. I like the fact there's a clean ending to it. Much as I like Smile Away on the original record, I'm going to pick that purely for that clean ending. Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. And to conclude the Wings journey, we have got Back to the Egg, and from this one, Baby's Request. Closing track on the record. It was nearly not on it, but I think it's an absolutely great, again, 1920s-ish style song. Into the 1980s with McCartney 2, which is not one of my favourite McCartney albums. However, I am really fond of the closing track, One of These Days. That's my pick today. Next up is Tug of War. So many great songs on here that I could easily pick 5 or 6, but today I'm going to recommend the title track, Tug of War. Really strong song, failed single, but that's what I'm listening to today. Next up, 1983's Tug of War offcuts album, Pipes of Peace. But I'm going to pick something that wasn't from those offcuts. It's Through Our Love. I think this is a great lost McCartney ballad. Next up, here's soundtrack from the ill-fated Give My Regards to Broad Street. I am going to take into account the fact that there are additional tracks on the CD, but that doesn't change my pick. It is and always will be No More Lonely Nights. It is streets ahead of everything else on the record. 1986 is Press to Play, where Paul had pretty much lost his way and probably lost his confidence. And I am taking into account the additional 3 tracks that are on the CD original release, but I'm still picking from the original album, and it's Footprints. I think that's an absolutely beautiful ballad that is known by too few people. Now we reach probably the most important album in the entire collection. It's the compilation All the Best. Why is it so important? Well, it's because my introduction to McCartney. 2 discs on here. From disc 1, I'm going to be picking Pipes of Peace. I prefer the single version to the album version because it's got that clean open, and it's a brilliant song, Pipes of Peace, which means I get to include 2 from that album, really. And then from the second disc on here, this is where I'm picking Maybe I'm Amazed. It was my introduction to McCartney, and actually it was my introduction to the song, and it's just perfect. We're roughly halfway through, so this is a perfect point for me to remind you to subscribe if you haven't already done so, to click the thumbs up to like the video, the bell for notifications of future content, and to share the video with someone else who might like it. 1988's Chobba CCCP, or Back in the USSR, the Russian album. Probably one of his least essential albums, but very important in his catalogue because it got him back into the recording studio, it got him his confidence back. From this, Don't Get Around Much Anymore. It's all covers, but Don't Get Around Much Anymore is a superior cover. 1989's Flowers in the Dirt is next. This holds an incredibly special place in my heart. So many tracks, again, that I could pick from it, but I'm going to go with the lead-off single, My Brave Face. Paul's next release was Tripping the Live Fantastic. And this was a triple vinyl set. So from the first vinyl disc, I am selecting Figure of Eight. That opened the concerts. It's way better than the studio version. From the second disc, I'm picking Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's not just the first part, it also has the reprise part, which is my favourite version of the song, and then with absolutely fantastic electric guitar work that links the 2 pieces, some extended playing from Robbie McIntosh and Hamish Stewart, I'm assuming. Absolutely one of my favourite ways to listen to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the song. From the third disc, which is predominantly packed with Beatles covers and a few other little things thrown in, tempting as it is to pick Golden Slumbers, Carry That Way at the end, I'm actually going to go with the live version of Ain't That a Shame. I think there's some real kick on this. The next disc is also a live disc, and it's Tripping the Live Fantastic Highlights. Only released in the UK, but it is an official Paul release. Yes, almost all the material is on Tripping the Live Fantastic and in the same versions, but there is an additional track, but I'm not picking that. I'm going to pick We Got Married. It means that I was able to... I can include a song I really, really like from Flowers in the Dirt. Next up is another live record from 1991. It is the Unplugged. I do think this is one of the least essential albums in Paul's entire catalogue. There's that stuff I actively dislike the versions of on here, and I love her as a travesty on here. But from this, I'm picking Every Night from McCartney. Next up, 1993's Off the Ground. Not a great album. I don't particularly like the production on it. Don't particularly like many of the songs. But from this, I am going to select Get Out of My Way. I just enjoy the rock and the energy in that. 1994 saw the release of Paul Is Live, which is a double live album. From disc 1, I am selecting the live version of Hope of Deliverance. From disc 2, again, absolutely stacked with Beatles covers, but for this, I'm going for Magical Mystery Tour. The next record in the collection is Flaming Pie. Paul had a bit of a gap while he was working on the anthology. He also got back to writing great songs. From Flaming Pie, I am today going to pick Little Willow. A really beautiful tribute to Maureen Starkey. Next up, Run Devil Run, a rock and roll covers album with 3 originals on it, but I am picking one of the covers, and it is No Other Baby. It's always been my favourite thing on the entire record. The next release is 2001's Wingspan. This was not released on vinyl as far as I'm aware, but it's a 2 CD set. From the hits, I'm going to pick Live and Let Die. Yeah, maybe in 1973, but it's an absolutely great song. And from the history, this is where I get the opportunity to pick a B-side, a great B-side, and it's Daytime, Nighttime Suffering. 2001 also saw the release of Driving Rain, which is not a good album. From that, I am picking Heather. It would have been one of Paul's greatest, possibly the greatest instrumental. It's a gorgeous piece of music, were it not for the hastily added lyrics. Heather from Driving Rain, really, really good, even though the rest of Driving Rain really, really isn't. Next up is 2003's live albums, Back in the World or Back in the US. And there are 2 discs, again, never released on vinyl. From the first disc, I am going to select Driving Rain, the title track of the album being toured. And from the second disc, the live version of Calico Skies. This now brings us to 2005's Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. This is an absolutely wonderful album. Very downbeat, but consistent throughout. From this, Riding to Vanity Fair. It's a bit of a revelation. If you thought Paul was all nicey, wait till you hear Riding to Vanity Fair. In 2007, we then got Memory Almost Full. I've maligned this album in the past and not really got it. I was listening to it the other night and it worked for the first time. The whole thing worked. I'm picking Vintage Clothes from Memory Almost Full. Next up is another live album from 2009. It's Good Evening New York City. From the first disc, I am picking Sing the Changes, an absolutely banging song from the Electric Arguments Fireman project. And then from the second disc, I've Got a Feeling, the Beatle track. We move forward into 2011 and Kisses on the Bottom, which I do think is his worst release. Tempting as it is to suggest My Valentine or Only Our Hearts, I don't particularly care for either of the tracks, and I much rather listen to his cover of Accentuate the Positive. 2013 and New. New, I am going to suggest the title track. I do think it's the best thing on here. So next up is Paul's retrospective compilations of Pure McCartney, vinyl and CD. There are more tracks on the CD, I'll come to that in a moment. 4 vinyl discs. I'm going to pick one from each of the vinyl discs. From disc 1, Warm and Beautiful, absolutely beautiful track. From disc 2, My Love Kintyre. My Love Kintyre has to be included, it's an amazing song. From disc 3, I finally get to pick Band on the Run. And from disc 4, Wanderlust from Tug of War, absolutely special song. And from the CD version, because basically each CD is effectively a double album of itself, I'm going to pick another 4 tracks, but they won't be ones that were on the vinyl. So from disc 1 here, Flaming Pie. From disc 2, Junior's Farm. From disc 3, Souvenir. And from disc 4, Don't Let It Bring You Down. That's basically because we still haven't got... It sounds so much better on here than it does on London Town, because it's been properly remastered and we still haven't got the London Town archive. So the Pure McCartney collection. Next up is 2018's Egypt Station. And from Egypt Station, I am going to select Dominoes. It's a great song. 2019 saw the release of the 2008 Amoeba gig that was done in support of the Memory Almost Full release. So there's 2 discs on this. From disc 1, I am picking Dance Tonight, the live version of Dance Tonight. And from disc 2, Coming Up, the sound check, the Amoeba gig. Paul's last official so far studio album is McCartney 3, and from McCartney 3, many great tracks I could pick on here, but I am going to suggest Sliding, a song I didn't like when I first heard the album, but I've now grown to absolutely love. It's not quite my favourite, but it's an absolutely great song. Which brings us almost right up to date, because there is one more official release to include, and that is One Hand Clapping, that came out last year. So it's a 2-disc set, and from disc 1, I'll Give You a Ring. Came out in 82 as a B-side. And then from disc 2, I get the chance to pick Sally G. This was the B-side of the single that they were about to release when this was being recorded. Sally G is one of my favourite country Paul songs. So that concludes my picks from each of Paul's album releases, live albums and greatest hits compilations. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. I would have loved to have included some other B-sides, things like Oh Woman Oh Why or Girls' School, but they haven't really made it out onto official releases. They're available on things like the archive collections in the main. Before I go, I'd remind you to subscribe, like, hit the bell, share the video, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.